My fifth attempt to make a video. This isn't working either. So, I've been making videos about news and movies and whatever since January 6th, that January 6th. I tried to not make some for a while because things weren't going right. I'm having a really hard time making video today. But there's a new story that I feel like I need to talk about. So Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Now, I really didn't know who he was that much until a few weeks ago when South Park made Cartman have a podcast that seemed to be supposed to be like him. So I only really looked at his face on a little thing that looked like he was excited that they made a character that was like him, and it was Cartman. I get my news and information from whatever. So I'm on Twitter. I look up. I'll Google stories. I do get mainstream media for the news, but I don't listen to their opinion. I don't take their opinion. I don't take sides. I'm not a side taker. I never have been. And that sort of left me alone in life, and it makes me the weirdo. That's why I will wear a lone wolf t-shirt. That's very much who I've always been. That goes back to just my upbringing, my DNA, being a poor kid who was in the class with rich kids, just always not fitting in, so I never needed to fit in. But I do think it affected me in life. I think some of it, people want that for whatever reason. People want to be validated by, oh, you think like me? Okay, that makes me awesome. I wasn't like that. So I've always been something of a lone wolf and whatever, and a peacenik. And I love a revenge movie. But I've never been in a fight in my life. I don't want to hurt anybody. I'd like to get through this life without killing anybody. I have voted for a very long time against the person who was anti-Russia because it seemed like I was a little kid. I was very afraid of Russia in the 80s, And then, we were friends for a long time. And I majored in Russian, but I don't speak it. And I wonder what would have happened if I was a success in life, if I could have helped out in some way. I don't know. But like I said, around the Mitt Romney's nomination, he started talking trash about Russia. And I was like, where'd this come from? What year is he in? So I had to vote against him, even though I didn't like Barack Obama at all, because I don't want to be enemies with Russia. Next thing I know, Obama's starting the same war hawk type shit. And I don't want anything to do with war. I don't want to, I vote for peace. I voted for President Trump. This was the third time. I really had wanted to vote for RFK Jr., but he did goofy things with picking his running mate and everything else, and I thought Trump was a little bit different in some of the things he said between his presidencies, but I was like, okay, we're going to do this one, especially when they seemed like they were forming a Justice League with Tulsi Gabbard and everybody else. I don't want to move too much because it makes it blurry and fuzzy or whatever. So I had some misgivings, but as he was getting towards the president, it seemed like everything was rolling the right way and we were going in the right way. And then, since he's become president, he's done a lot of things I really don't agree with. First, the thing where he was letting Elon boss him around, and then every time he sat down, like I said, I was supposed that there was a clone, and it was the burnt orange one, and now I'm like, I don't know if I think that one may have disintegrated, and now they've made a new one that's just, his hair is almost white, like so blonde it's almost white, and his complexion is a lot lighter. I don't know. I really don't know anymore. I didn't used to believe in any of this hocus pocus magic sacrifices and rituals and all that stuff. I was a conspiracy theorist on my own years ago based on how they assassinated people, and having watched JFK and understood what that character named X, played by Donald Sutherland, was talking about, in the military industrial complex and all that stuff. So that's how I was, but in a very rational way. And I would hear people talking about the Illuminati and all this weird stuff in Hollywood. Thought it was all a bunch of bull crap, and they were just going too far. I was always like, you didn't need that. You could just say powerful people doing bad things to stay powerful and to have control. That was enough. To me, you didn't need to do. I should really shut off the TV because it's making this blue glare on my yeah, it's kind of gone. Okay, so it was enough just that people wanted to be powerful and have all the money, and you know, who can lick who, as they said in the Phoenician scheme. And it's so stupid and childish. And unfortunately, and let me skip ahead, since the COVID lockdowns where we were all going nuts in the house, for whatever reason, maybe it's partly the thing. Sometimes I think the thing has had an influence on people. It seems to have made people more infantile. It seems to have made people, it's not just more selfish, it's really like de-evolving, become like whatever you learned in your years on earth, you're going backwards in a evil kind of Benjamin Button way, where you're becoming less and less mature, and more selfish and bratty, and just like the way a baby will hit another baby for a toy, you know. Like wisdom is gone. People who had it have lost it. And for me, I try to stay current. I try to stay myself. I think my own thoughts, and I've been saying for a very long time, there's nobody I can talk to. And I know that because I'm not on anybody's side. I don't agree 100% with these people. I don't agree 100% with that people. It's been much harder to talk to anybody on the left than on the right. But recently, the people I used to talk to on the right, they've also become just as bad in terms of just repeating what everybody else is saying, and digging their heels and becoming more militant. And as time goes on, I don't feel like I'm getting smarter. I feel like a lot of people are getting stupider. And it's tribal, and it's two tribes, and all the songs that I listened to in the 80s were stupid. All these songs were there, and I had to reference Fragile today in regards to this shooting, which is so ridiculous. It's a guy with a podcast. Why do you need to shoot him? Why did that man on the bus need to stab that lady? Why do people see somebody who is not them or not like them and decide that person needs to be done away with? I've never understood it. That's why I'm saying I'm a peacenik. I just feel like if everybody does well, everybody does well. And even me trying to be a human on this earth with these other humans, I don't feel like I'm one of them anymore. Like I said, Lightworker, Starseed, all these fruity videos, I'd like to think I'm a wonderful human being, empath, whatever the hell you want to call it. In my opinion, empath just means you're like an emotional sponge, or a psychological sponge, or like silly putty. You pick up on whatever's around you. So being around people all the time is very hard, and I've been doing that for a couple years now, but in the last year, I'm really exhausted all the time. And I'd really like to just sleep for a week. I would really love to win a lottery so I don't have to be around other humans at all. I don't hate people. I say that sometimes because I hate people as a whole. Like, humans as a race really suck a lot, especially now because they're getting worse. But individual people, one-on-one, I don't have a problem with, except everybody's got these it's just where I work, there's a lot of people. I didn't have a job a few years back. I didn't have a job before COVID. I was alone a lot. You know, I lived with my mom. Unfortunately, I had to depend on her because, like I said, I was a failure in life, and it was a horrible way to be. And I hated it, and I hated myself, and I still hate myself for the failure that I am and was. But I was able to think my own thoughts in peace. I didn't have to deal with people. I didn't have to be around. So if I wanted to think I was an empath, that was wonderful. And being around people, I didn't know if I'd be able to do it because I knew I was going to have a hard time. But I was able to do it for a long time, and now I'm really exhausted. And there's certain kinds of people who will really, they call them energy vampires. They will suck the life out of you. I'm around people like that. And I'm around a lot of people who are older than me. They're in their 60s, they're in their 70s, and they act like bratty teenagers, and they demand attention like a bratty teenager. And it's to the point where it's like for a year I've been saying I can't anymore. I gotta get over it. I can't because it exhausts me. I can't do my own things. The last 2 days, I've been having imaginary conversations in my head all the time because of these people, and I can't stop it because of what my brain just starts doing it. Because it's just I can't. They don't make sense. I can't. I can't assimilate the nonsense I hear and deal with on a daily basis, and there's so much of it, and I'm around so many people all the time, you know, and I don't want to anymore, you know, because it's so bad. So my own opinions are all over the place in terms of politics and how people should live, and over the last, since COVID especially, like every year or something, it's like my opinions are squared. So whatever I thought before, it's like I think not twice as much, but squared now. And people, the same people I used to be able to talk to 5 years ago, I can't talk to them anymore because they're still doing the team thing. And it's like I've said to them, I don't listen. I don't want to talk about the daily politics because they're a uniparty. I'm beyond. That's not my thing anymore. And they don't get it, and they still go, well, just this person. I told her, and just the other day she said to me, well, that side, their side, like not our side, their side. And I'm just like, I told her from the beginning, I'm not a side person, you know. But she knows that we agreed on things, and now she hates that side now. And it's like, don't. You know, don't put me on your side. You know, I like you, let's be friendly, but, you know, I can't even push back on that because that's like now I must be on the other side then. It's stupidity, and I've never wanted to be on a side since I was a kid, whatever kind of side. Like I said, race side, fucking Yankees and Red Sox, Star Trek, Star Wars, you know what I mean? I don't want to take sides not because I'm a coward. I drink Coke and Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. I go to McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. I'm not a loyalist to anything but the truth. And most people hate people who tell the truth because they want somebody who's going to be on their side. They want somebody who's going to bury the bodies with them. They want to feel like they're on the right team, and I have no desire to be on a team. I always wanted to be an individual. And over time, that seems to be something that's just not a thing anymore. It's just not a thing. So there were probably points in time, especially as we were coming out of COVID, when I was like, am I going in the gulag? Am I going to be, you know what I mean? What's going to happen? Okay, now we got this president. What are they going to do with us? And, you know, you didn't know. So you're like, am I going to have to choose a side? I don't want to. You know, and that's all this is. So this guy, Charlie Kirk, I don't know that I ever really heard him speak. I don't know that I know he was on the right, and he was somebody who was very popular. But like I said, I don't even really listen to Joe Rogan anymore because I just don't have time. I'm exhausted. Like I said, I listen to Joe Rogan sometimes because he had the kind of people on that I wanted to listen to, but I don't want to listen to MMA fighters. I don't want to listen to half of the weirdos he has. I mean, I like ancient alien stuff. I just got an ancient alien shirt, not from the show, but like with an alien and a pyramid and all this stuff. I love that stuff, but I don't want to talk about it every day. I don't want to talk the same all the time. And I'm sure I missed some things that I would have been interested in, but I've been exhausted. I can basically go to the movies. I've been going to Boston to get my head out of this place, and it helps me. It helps me. It's like my brain finally clears a little bit, you know, from being around the people I'm around. It's like I get out of that collective unconscious or whatever the hell you call these things. Because, you know, that brain mass or whatever the hell you call it, and go into maybe a better one or just maybe not the same one. So it's like my brain can flush out this stuff and get back to my own brain, and just get rid of all the stuff the silly puttiness of me has picked up from other people. But then doing that, it costs me an energy. I don't have money. I don't know what's going to happen to me monetarily. I'm so exhausted. I would love to get a better job that paid more money with more hours. I can't handle what I have now. I've been on the verge of collapse, and like I said, for a year. I feel like I'm constantly falling down. And I'm getting forgetful because I have so many thoughts in my mind all the time. So I forget little things. I'm always forgetting something. I didn't forget my phone, but I left this morning. Thought it was in my pocket of, not this one, a different hoodie. Got off the bus at Dunkin', and I'm like, where the hell's my phone? I have my Obama phone, but I also have a phone I have my apps on and stuff. That's the one I really use. That's the one where my debit card is. That's the one. I didn't know. Did it fall off and did somebody take it out of me in the bus? Did I lose it at the bus stop? I can't go back because there's not another bus going back the other way. This is what my life is like. I didn't forget it, but it got forgot. And I can't panic anymore because I don't have the energy to panic. So I was just like, well, I might as well I do have $6 in my pocket. I might as well go to Dunkin' and then just get a bus home in about an hour. Or not an hour, like 45 minutes. Because that's when it comes. And then I'll see if it's gone. Or if it's home and something happened. I said, did I pick it up? I can't remember because I had put it down. And I thought I picked it up and put it in my pocket. But then I didn't have it. So I'm like, maybe I'm going to go home and it's going to be right there. And I thought, well, guess what happened? I looked in the place. I didn't put it down. It fell out of my pocket. Could have fallen out of it. Luckily, it fell out of my pocket in my house. But I didn't recognize it. I didn't notice at the bus stop because the guy started talking to me at the bus stop. Don't ask me why I am at the bus stop with this guy all the time. Today he wanted to talk. But it cost me time. And it cost me energy. And it makes me feel bad. And how come I don't know where I dropped it? How come I didn't check my pocket? This is what's going on with me mentally, where I feel like sometimes I'm getting old age in that way. And this is like once a day, or, you know, I forget a thing and then my whole day gets ruined because I forgot my debit card, or I forgot my phone, or I forgot the thing I was supposed to bring. And now I can't get accomplished where I was going to get accomplished. I got to come all the way back, and it's not easy. And then I get exhausted from all this. And then I'm around people who are nuts sometimes, and then I have to listen to them, and then once they're gone, I don't know where my brain was. What the hell was I supposed to be thinking about? So whatever else everybody else is going through, I'm going through this, and at the same time I feel like people are also sucking whatever energy I have. So I'm not getting my shit done. I'm not taking care of myself right. I'm not able to do anything because I'm that fucking exhausted. It seems like, I was looking at ADD stuff, it seems like that, but it's just exhaustion. It's exhaustion. Like, I don't have the energy. Sometimes I feel it in my legs. Like, I go out, I'll go somewhere, like I'll go to Dunkin', I'll sit there for an hour trying to do internet stuff and figure out what I'm doing. Time goes by like that. Feels like 10 minutes. It's an hour. I go to stand up, and it's like Frankenstein shit. And it's like it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm already exhausted. Everything hurts, and I'm tired. And then I gotta go to work, maybe, depending on what day it is. I went to work yesterday. I got there. I felt like I'd run 10 marathons, and I needed to go to sleep because I was exhausted already. Because I was running here and there. I had to come home because I forgot I left my charger plugged in with the cord on it, which I never do. And I always check, but this time I didn't check. Why? Because I was in a hurry and I had all the bullshit. I was having imaginary conversations in my head with people who drive me nuts. They say people live rent free in your head. I got a couple of them now. Because why? I don't know. I don't like them. I don't want to know them. They're stupid. But this is the world. So I'm going through all these little struggles, the battle of me against the world. So contra two over here. And it's like pretend I'm Jesus. It's like in Jesus Christ Superstar when all the lepers are grabbing at Jesus and he's like, Father, I feel like that on the time. I'm not Jesus. We know this. But it has that feeling, you know what I mean? Where you're just getting like quicksand, or you're drowning in people. And like I said, I try to talk to people, and I know what this one likes this, I'm going to talk to them about that. This one likes that, I'm going to talk to them about that. This one over here says they're Christian, okay, I'm going to avoid talking about this thing over here. Or if they bring it up, then, but I try to talk to people without confronting people, without calling them stupid or acting like they're stupid. I try to, because I'm naturally like that. I'm naturally, maybe I was supposed to be a diplomat. I don't know, but I just can talk to most people about something. You know what I mean? Me in the middle of somewhere, I'm going to be able to have a conversation. Maybe I should have been a senator's wife. Maybe I should have been Mrs. Peacock. I just, but I wanted to be diverse of mind. I wanted to be cultured and sophisticated and know about the world. And so I wanted to have my influence. I wanted the world to be my influence, not a certain segment, not a group, not a clan. So I'm here in the world at this time, and this shit happens. And once somebody gets killed like this, everybody's like, oh, political violence shouldn't happen. Yeah, but all you people, either side, you were all clawing at each other yesterday. And you all breeded this environment of let's hate the other guy, and he's the problem, not us. And it's been going on. And unfortunately, it has looked like one side was a little bit more like that than the other side. But sides is the problem. Teams is the problem. If you hate the Red Sox because you're a Yankees fan, or you hate the Yankees because you're a Red Sox fan, why don't you just love your team? Why do you have to hate the other team? Why can't you just put 100% of the energy into loving your team? Why do you have to go ahead and spend more time hating the other team than loving your team? Or why can't you just like your team a lot and be like, well, I don't like them, but whatever, live and let live. Why can't you do that? I don't know. I don't know why people can't. I don't know if it's just the thing. Like I said, I don't have brothers and sisters. That also made me more of an individual person. I was an only child, and I think most people think we're weirdos. I don't care. I don't mind being weird. But I see this, and like I said, the Sting song "Fragile" came into my mind. I've liked that song's been like in my top 5 since I first heard it back in the day. And I don't know if I heard it first and then saw it on 21 Jump Street, or it was 21 Jump Street that got me to like the song. There was a plot where Penn Hall liked this woman. I don't know if she was a refugee. There was some stuff going on. It was South American, this and that, and and then he married her. They were like, he liked her, but they weren't super serious. But he married her kind of for political reasons, like to help her out. But it didn't work, and it was, you know what I mean. She gets dragged off, and the song kicks in. I don't really remember the whole story, but when I went to NYU as a freshman, again, I was majoring in Russian. I wanted to take languages. I wanted to travel the world. So I wanted to do something international with my life. I got stuck here instead. I wanted to do something. So I thought, well, maybe I'll take languages and then see what happens. Maybe I'll become an interpreter, something else. No, it'll work itself out, right? No, it didn't. But I wanted the world to be where I live, not a town. You know what I mean? Yeah, I planned to live in Manhattan. That was, and then I wanted to go bing, bing, bing everywhere. So Manhattan was going to be my permanent address. But I wanted to live everywhere. That was what I wanted. And I went in that direction. It didn't work itself out. But when I was at NYU, there was an Amnesty International Club. And as a freshman, me and a couple of these other girls I used to hang around with, we went to the meeting. We would go to the meetings and write a little letter. And, nothing big. But one day they had this, it was like something like a lecture about Croatia and Serbia and Yugoslavia, all that. And what did I know from Yugoslavia? I knew there was an Olympics there, right? In Sarajevo, that's what I knew. And so we were there because the point of the lecture was Amnesty International was hosting this lecture to inform NYU students about what was going on over there. Because this was like 1991, I guess, 1992. Because we're kids. The meeting starts, and then in no time flat, there's a group of Serbs over there, there's a group of Croats over there, yelling at each other. And we're like, I don't know what's going on. Because we're kids and we don't know. And it was the Amnesty International Club. We were trying to be good kids, And you started to see that all these things, like in Israel and all these things, it's all these age-old fights, this one against that one, and like I said, clans, and it's all stupid. Like, I don't mean clans like the clan, I mean clans like, Clan of the Cave Bear, like different groups in different villages, and this clan's fighting that clan, and for some spot near a river, who freaking knows, you know what I mean? Ukraine and Russia right now, all this stuff. And the way things have been going, I don't know what's been going on. I don't know. Like I said, I because of all the nonsense and seeing how the world's gone and having to take blood sacrifices seriously, because how these people are that evil that they must be doing rituals. And I believe it's evil now. It's not just powerful people doing powerful things. And I've been watching this situation in the Middle East, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting every day. I said on a different video that back when I was in high school, I thought Benjamin Netanyahu was cool. The way he's been for a long time now has been really, I don't even know what to call it, but it's been awful. This whole Palestine thing, I've been feeling bad for the Palestinians for years now, but this whole thing is a freaking, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I was sitting there waiting for Trump to be like, okay, we're bros, but pump the brakes. And I've been waiting for that for a long time. This whole presidency almost. And no, he's kind of just, I think there was one point where he thought he was going to broker peace with something. Oh, we'll do a ceasefire. they don't know what ceasefire means, or they know what it means. They choose to ignore it. I think Israel, what did they do to Qatar yesterday? They've been doing all kinds of shit, and they've been allowed to do it. And I've been seriously just looking at President Trump or one of his clones or whatever those people are on TV, and we're like, you gonna do something about this? I was all happy when he was hanging out with Putin. 2 days later, he's cheating on him with Zelensky. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Zelensky's a putz. We don't want that guy. What are you doing? And this is what I'm saying. I know a lot of people on the right, and I assume it's their pastors that tell them to do it, the ones who are very religious. They side with Israel. Patricia Heaton, I follow her because I liked her as an actress. Her tweets get on my last nerve. It's like, what's wrong with you, lady? Don't you see you're really taking a side, and the side is killing a bunch of little kids right now? You know? But they don't see it. And that's the blindness that has always come with people who support Israel no matter what. It's like, oh, and I hate to think it's a skin tone issue, because I hate thinking in those terms, but what else could it be? Israel's right and all those other people are wrong? Well, why is that? Oh, because you're Christian and they're Muslim? And Jews are closer to Christian than... I don't really know. It's all the same Abrahamic religion thing, but... So you've had this thing going on, and it's like, sometimes you're like, do you know the things you're saying don't go along with... You know... Like, I'm not on the left, but of course I have not agreed with Israel in this whole thing. I have been sympathetic to Palestine. Hamas is a terrorist organization. I think the other day Benjamin Netanyahu basically said everybody in Palestine is Hamas. All of a sudden, like, that's what I read. I don't know if that's true, because I'm exhausted. I'm falling apart all the time. I can't keep up with the news anymore. But what I do catch, I'm like, what? Huh? What's going on now? Who died? Every day something is going wrong. This one's dead over here. That one, oh, there goes another probably injured person is deceased. And every time you turn around, you're like, what? What's happening? What happened now? What happened? Oh, Putin's with Xi and them? Well, guess why? Because President Trump was over there giving Zelensky credit he didn't deserve, or cred he didn't deserve. Put it that way. And it's just, you're going around like, what that? This isn't what I voted for. I definitely voted for not more wars. It was supposed to be peace, which he thinks he could negotiate in his Trump way, but you can't do that on the world stage. Like, you can you can tell one guy you're going to give him everything, and then turn around and tell the other guy you're going to give him everything. If you're doing that behind closed doors, and you're trying to broker a deal by moving you can't do that on the world stage. You can't do that with everybody watching, because everybody's going to be, well, you're just lying to everybody. That's what it looks like. That's not... It may work in negotiations where you're meeting with somebody in a boardroom, and then you're talking to somebody else on the phone, and they're not privy to what you said to them. So if you're kissing this one's butt and you're kissing the other one's butt, you know, both telling them how wonderful they are. Oh, you're my favorite. No, you're my favorite. You can't do that when it's being recorded and people are watching and everybody knows you were best friends with that guy yesterday. You can't be best friends. You can't have two best friends. I know people say BFFs and stuff. You can't have two favorites. You can't. So I think that this has been a real weak spot in President Trump's self-awareness of how it's going with these people. I think he doesn't know why these negotiations aren't working out. And it's because everybody knows he's telling people what they want to hear with the idea he's going to get them to the middle. But if they both realize that you're just saying things to curry favor in the moment, and then you're going to turn around and tell the other guy this, you know what I mean? I'm going to get you everything. No, I'm going to get you everything. It's not, well, I'll get you this and that, and let me see what I can do about the other thing. Or I'll see what I can do about that, but you got to let me budge on, you got to budge a little bit on this so I can get you that thing. That's, okay, that's negotiations. But when you're making one guy feel important on Monday, you can't run back and go back to the little dude pouting over there in his dungarees or whatever the hell he's wearing, because people tell you to, or it looks bad to this group over here. It just, whatever's been going on, it just seems it's Gemini, but in a bad way, because it's like, it's not charcoal gray and heather gray. It's darkest black and whitest white, and you're flipping like that. It's Libra shit. It's not Gemini shit. You know what I mean? So I've been waiting, and I've been waiting a long time for President Trump to be like, hey, Netanyahu, cut the shit, because you're killing too many kids. You're bombing hospitals, and you're going ha ha he he, like the aliens and Mars attacks. Oh, let's have peace. And I think everybody's doing that to Trump because he wanted to be this peace guy. He wanted to win the Nobel Prize. He's talking about going to heaven and stuff, and it's like, what you're doing isn't working. You can't be everybody's friend. If somebody's doing the wrong thing, you got to tell them, hey, cut it out. At some point, you got to decide who you are going to say, stop. Okay, you've gone too far, Netanyahu. Stop it. We're not going to have your back anymore. But why doesn't anybody do that? Why is it that no president's going to go against Israel? Because Benjamin Netanyahu isn't Israel. Okay? He's a man who's gone bananas. He's going too far. It looks like he's trying really hard to get the best seat in hell. I understand that part of certain people's religion is that they already have a place reserved, but I was told by Jewish people that you can lose your spot. Even if you're supposed to be a chosen person, you can do things to lose your spot. If this guy hasn't lost his spot, if he has translated his actions into somehow doing the thing that's supposed to be done according to some text, how come so many Jewish people are against what he's doing? Because they are. There's a lot of Jewish people who are against it. So I've been waiting for President Trump, and he doesn't. And there's so many things that President Trump has done in this presidency that doesn't seem Trump-like. That's why I said the burnt orange one was a clone. And now there's, like I said, a extra light one. Like, they decided not to try to use any orange this time, so it doesn't turn out that way. But here we are. And now we've had a political commentator get killed. Because why? Because why? And the only thing that makes sense is that it's a distraction. Now, tomorrow's September 11th. That should be enough of a distraction. But this is a distraction for what? And to think that this poor man, who I don't know, but it looked like I saw pictures of his little family. He looked like a happy dude. I don't know what horrible things he said. We all say horrible things, especially now. But I don't think, he died because of, I don't really think it's about the teams this time. I don't think it's somebody on the left. And a lot of people who think like me don't think it's, more like it's a, what X would have said. in the movie JFK. It seems like if you said the name Marquis de Sade, but you took out some of the letters and you squished it together, that was after I thought what a horrible thing it was that this guy was killed. My brain really at no point thought, oh, it must be a Democrat, it must be a liberal, it must be some. My brain didn't go that way at all. I was like, I can't believe they killed this guy. I was shocked. Thought about South Park. Went, oh my God, I can't believe they killed him. I knew he got shot. I was like, what? I saw that on Twitter, and then by the time I got home, it said that he was dead. And I was like, I can't believe, I was like, oh my God. And then to see the shot, like, it looked like Trump's rally when Trump was shot. This time it looked like I said, the same spot on Earth that I was just talking about and how that needs to stop. They have people who do things. And that's exactly where my mind went right away. Because of how bad everything looked in the last 48 hours about that specific individual and the shit he's been pulling and how President Trump hasn't stopped him. You need a distraction. You need to, while also furthering the evil agenda of separating people all over the earth, maybe creating civil war. And David Icke, in the last little while, I was like, I really need to start from the beginning and read all this stuff, because I heard of the guy over the years. I watched a thing or two. I knew the things he said. Like I said, I drew a little bit from everywhere and came up with my own ideas, but I'm like, yeah, maybe I needed to go back. He just started a YouTube channel because I was like glad for it, because I'm like, I can't start from the beginning because I don't know where the beginning is. I don't read. I'm not a reader. But yeah, so I follow him on Twitter to follow Alex Jones. I like, but like with people like Alex Jones, I always used to think you're doing too much. You're going too far. Bohemian Grove, whatever crazy stuff they were talking about. Like, okay, fine. But that stuff doesn't matter. Like the Epstein files don't matter to me for shit. The Epstein list or whatever doesn't matter to me for shit, because I don't care about that. I didn't care about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. I don't care. Like I said, I grew up in the 80s. If a 16-year-old had sex with a 35-year-old, I could care less. I was a teenager at that time. There were so many girls I knew who had boyfriends who were older. There was a girl who got pregnant when we were in junior high. So, it wasn't, people weren't running out to get their 14-year-old daughters married or anything, but it wasn't a big deal, and it was on the parents, and life was so, this Epstein shit, apart from the women being held captive and against their will, the list that I saw before with the flight, it's people I liked. It's the jet set. It's rock stars and supermodels. So what is this list is people are waiting for? Who cares? It's like they're waiting to find out who they can hate next. Because it's all about hate. Why? Because hate's evil and jealousy and all this bullshit. And it's all coming from evil is what I'm saying. And anybody who wants war is evil. And if you think you're defending your nation and you're killing a bunch of little kids, you're evil. And if you force people to get a thing in order to be on your side, you're evil. And if you go around trying to make sure everybody toes the line and says all the things they're supposed to say to stay on your side, you're evil. And if you want to make a joke when somebody gets assassinated, like this kid got assassinated, you're evil. And if maybe he was evil, because I don't even know what he said, but people gotta stop killing people over words. Sticks and stones. Dave Chappelle had to make a whole special called Sticks and Stones because you have so many people in this world who are just ridiculous. Their ideas, their ideals, maybe it's your religion. So what? Have a nice time with your God and your rules, and if you go to heaven, great. And if the rest of us go to hell, fine. You don't have to hang around with us after in the afterlife. Wonderful. Worry about yourself. Stop worrying about what we're doing over here. It's so stupid. This is what I'm saying. This is why it makes it impossible for me to talk to people. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching this shit, and it's like it keeps escalating into a dark, dark place. It's Lynchian. David Lynch movies where it was spooky and dark and unsettling, and what's going on in the Langoliers when they were in the past. That kind of eerie feeling of something's not right. I was saying to myself last week or the week before, maybe somebody time traveled and it fucked up everything, and that's why everything seems wrong. Like we're in a tangent universe from Donnie Darko, whatever. Everything seems, it's not healthy. It seems dirty. It seems dark. It seems like it's perfectly normal daytime. I'm wearing these, and it feels like I'm wearing glasses, like I'm wearing sunglasses. Things have it's like they have soot on them, or they're grimy, or they're greasy, and it's just what life feels like. And then you have the story, and you're like, how ridiculous can it get? And again, I'm watching NBC, and they're making a face. I'm like, yeah, it's your rhetoric. It's everybody's rhetoric about them and them and them that makes this shit happen. And then you need somebody to get shot to understand that that's low-key what you're calling for? When you're talking about sides, when you're trying to justify Netanyahu, when you're trying to say, oh, Putin's bad, but Zelensky's not. Anybody out there killing somebody else for their own gain, killing somebody else because they're not on their side. Anybody else thinking, oh, this death is sad, but that death is fine because war, all things are fair in love and war. Oh, no, but not when my people die, or not when this person who looks like this dies. Okay? But that's where we're at. That's why I'm saying people are getting stupid, because so many people think like that. Oh, that baby dying is sad, but not that baby. You know? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But people are so much about themselves and their own kind. And I don't really feel like I ever lived on an earth that was like that before. Like when I was a kid, we would talk about Brotherhood Month, and there was the stuff you used to watch, movies and videos about Martin Luther King and them, and segregation and people being against each other. You know what I mean? And you would hear about Hitler, and they would teach you about that. But that was in the past. That wasn't the world. The world I live in was MTV. Everybody got along. Boys wore makeup, and we all liked them, and it didn't even matter. Everybody was allowed to be themselves, and then something took a turn, and everybody decided to group. And the grouping that happened, and it started, like I said, it feels like this century. I guess it started in the 90s. You had evangelicals come along around the time of W being president, and leading up to Y2K, and the world didn't end, so I guess people didn't know what to do with themselves. Then 9/11 happened, and we lost a decade to stupidity because of that. And then now we're over here with this, and it's just like the world's gradually gotten dirty, and it's a dirty you can't wash off. And I watched the whole thing, and I was wide awake the whole time, and I still don't know how it happened, because I thought better of people. I realized a good 10 years ago that I overestimate people. But I get so sad almost on a daily basis with an interaction with another human being. It brings me down. Because they say these stupid things. They say these things that it's either archaic or something I thought I'd never hear. And I'm like, I'm 51 years old. This isn't my first day. Why are people suddenly seeming so stupid isn't the right word. Ignorant isn't the right word. It's brutish. It's something you would think of not a nice troll, a bad troll. Not the nice troll from Harry Potter that they killed because he was scared, but like the orcs weren't even as bad as the way people are acting now, or the Urukai, you know. These are people who, to me, it seems like they've given up their minds to stupidity. And I'm sitting here telling you how I'm exhausted and I can't think, but my mind still doesn't go that way, you know. I don't go around wanting to be right, because I know I think my own thoughts and I'm right for me. I don't need to convince anybody of anything. I just thought of I'm going through this shit with going to the doctor because I got hurt in the bus. The bus slammed on the brake. The bus driver slammed on the brakes. I hit my knee. Something popped. I've been going to them trying to tell them something happened. I had to go through physical therapy in order to get the MRI. The MRI says what I was telling them all along, but they just wouldn't believe me. It was like I was full of shit or I was lying to get something. I don't take painkillers. So I'm not trying to get pills out of anybody, but every time I go, it's like I'm not believable. And I don't do anything to anybody. It's like I must be lying about anything. And I'm just thinking right now about how I was so aggravated because I was trying to converse with the doctor about the results of my MRI, because he didn't have an appointment for a month. There's no way I'm supposed to wait a month to talk about the MRI. So I'm trying to talk to him. Then he's going on vacation. He doesn't answer my question before he goes on vacation. He's not coming back for a week. But I sent him a message on this chart, this my chart business. Next thing I know, I'm getting voicemails from some bitch named Diana, and she made me an appointment with. I'm like in a completely different town. I don't drive, and I'm just like, wait, how the hell is this bitch reading my medical shit? I don't care if it's not my actual chart. It's attached to my chart. So who's this random bitch who schedules appointments for people unawares, reading my shit? I already hate going to doctors. I hate the whole system. Standard of care means middle of the road, kill as many people as possible and charge insurance for it, or charge Medicare for it, or Medicaid, or whatever. Make some money, making people go all around the world to try to diagnose themselves with a disease so they can be sad until they die. Make them take pills until they die. Maybe the pills will help them die earlier. But make sure all they get enough referrals so all your buddies can get some more money for their appointments, where they just process them and kick them out the door. And I hate the whole system. But sometimes you get hurt. Sometimes you're sick. Sometimes you need antibiotics. Sometimes you have to go to these assholes. But I was just thinking about how this woman, I'm talking to her on the phone. I'm like, I was aggravated because I'm like, look, and I was talking probably like this. I'm not going to be yelled at. And I'm like, I really want this. That happened to me once last year. I was talking to my supervisor on the phone, and I was frustrated. So I was talking like, I'm not going to be yelled at. I'm like, both times I want to say, if I was yelling, you'd hear it. When I yell, they can hear me in the next town. The whales can hear me. Okay? That, if I was yelling. So it's like I talk fast and frustrated, and that's yelling. And then that's going to go on my record. An evil patient who yells at people or something. I hate this whole system. I hate this whole life. It's about conforming. It's about teams. It's about bullshit. I can't talk to anybody. I mean, it's nice to have conversations sometimes. And a few years back, I was saying I was desperate for a conversation. I know I'm never going to have a real one again. That's why I have to have the conversations in my head. Imaginary conversations with people. I'm probably starting to talk to myself in the street. Because the real conversations don't exist. You can't really talk to anybody about anything anymore. It's not possible. Because even if you tried, you'd probably be talking to a weak person who wants to be liked and will just start agreeing with you. And then they'll start telling you exactly what they heard on Joe Rogan, or they'll start telling you exactly what they heard on like this podcast this guy had. They'll just repeat the same old shit. I was in Duncan last week, and there were these two guys talking, and one of the guys was clearly saying sound bites, repeating sound bites, and he was an old guy. He wasn't some 23-year-old. He wasn't some Gen Z, you know. He was literally repeating sound bites, and he was an old guy, like 65, almost 70, just repeating what he heard. It was obvious that that's what he was saying. And I was just like, man, that sucks. I counted on the old people 20 years or more older than me, you know, giving their real opinions. They've stopped doing that. They're all saying what they've heard. They don't think for themselves anymore. They're I guess afraid, and they joined a team. And this is what teams get you. Now everybody's going to act shocked. What do you think all the rhetoric does? What do you think all the hating and blaming does? What do people immediately start blaming guns again, which blames the right, or people who don't want gun control, or gun control isn't going to do shit. People are going to kill people. But this stuff, killing somebody, but I don't think it was somebody from the team. There wasn't a red or a blue. That's what I'm saying. It was a black. And I don't mean race by that. I mean operations. That's what I think. So not exactly as they say. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. But you understand what I'm getting at. Like sometimes trees have moss on them, right? And sometimes videos have ads on them. Well, what if the ad was about moss? That's what I'm saying. And I don't understand why that small country has the clout to run the world and do the atrocities and the horribleness, and everybody lets them do it. I don't know why that's happening, but that's what it seems like. I don't know. I don't get it. Is it archons? I was supposed to watch a video on archons. I don't know what these things are. This is all the history and the ancient mythologies and stuff that I never learned, and I'm mad because they were there. I don't think anybody I knew about them, but the stuff I wish I learned from very old books. And all that time I didn't want to read Billy Budd and shit that was not interesting, or the Sunflower. I could have been reading about ancient aliens and you know, the Ethiopian Bible and Book of Enoch. That shit was there, but I didn't know about it. All the Hindu texts. I'd love to read. I don't have the brain for it. Like I said, I'm exhausted. I don't have money. I buy the books so I'll read them instead of them going back to the library where I read like half a page. There's a pile of them right there. I've got the Mahabharata. I've got a book about the assassins. I've got the Book of Enoch's over here somewhere. I've got another book about Shiva. I didn't read them. All the stuff I should have read. I don't have the brain space anymore. Like if I could sleep on it and it would go in my head. But yeah, I was supposed to be going to sleep early. I was going to come home and then lay down, and I saw that guy was shot. And then I had to hurry up and do something outside, which I didn't finish. And it's dark now. And I gotta get up at 4 o'clock. because they've been giving me shit about getting in late. That's a whole nother thing. This people purposely wanting to misunderstand me. People wanting to make a mess because they don't like me because I tell the truth and they're corrupt. I go through that on a daily basis in my life. I'm fighting evil every day. We all are. Well, those of us who aren't evil, or maybe some people play both sides. But this is an hour now. I gotta put the TV on. I gotta have a snack. I gotta go to sleep. Anyway.